In today's video, we're going to be going over some fantastic designer fragrances that are great for spring and summer, just the warm weather in general. Not too long ago, I did my top 10 spring fragrances video, so if you want to go check out that video, you can go watch that. There's a couple videos ago, all designers in that one as well. This video, we're going to go a little bit more broad with it. We're going to kind of reach into summer a little bit as well, and it's just giving you some more options for the upcoming warm weather. After all, you don't want to be behind the curve in terms of making your purchases because you kind of want to be able to get them ahead of time. That way you can actually wear them when the weather starts to warm up, wherever it is you might be. We have a little bit of a cold spell right now, but then it's going to go right back up to spring temperatures again. Very standard for this time of year where I live in terms of spring, just the weather all over the place. So these are going to be some great options that I'm going to be looking for, and none of these made it in my top 10 spring fragrances video. So we've got a bit of a different variety here in varying price ranges as well. So I'm going to drop links to everything down below to discounters. If you want to do some shopping around, you can pick these up at great prices. Now this first one is Afnan 9 a.m. Dive. Been a fan of this ever since it first came out. Started off with 9 p.m., which is a great scent, an ultra male cologne. And so you might think, okay, if that's an ultra male cologne, a very close one at that, this must be a cologne of something in particular, right? Just kind of, you know, in my mind, that's how it would make sense, but that's not really the case. This one is not like a one-off clone of anything. Instead, you might find that it reminds you of several other things put together. You know, you might smell it and you might get a little bit of like a YSL type of smell. You might get a little bit of like a slight Bleu de Chanel type of grapefruit in here, maybe even a little bit of like an Elysium type of woodiness, right? You're getting all these notes that remind you of things, but they're combined, you know, and so that's kind of what this one is. Opens up very bright and very fruity. The opening smells amazing. The entire scent does, but the opening is what sold me on this one at first, and even now, years later, after revisiting this one multiple times, every time I open this one up, it's bright and vibrant right off the top. Amazing quality too. Sometimes it can be tricky when you're going for a cheaper scent and you're using a lot of citrus and a lot of fruit. Sometimes that opening can smell a little bit muddy, a little bit synthetic, you know, not all that good of quality. Not at all the case here. It smells great right off the first spray, and this is from a clone brand, and this is usually in that $30 range, so very impressive quality for the price. And again, it's something that reminds you of several things. You know, you smell this and you're going to feel like you've smelled it before, but you can't quite put your finger on it. That's why. And I think that's okay. You know, they could have gone the direction of just pinpointing one thing in particular and trying to replicate it, but instead we get something with a little bit of a twist, and that's perfectly fine with me. This is great for spring, great for summer, and honestly, the name, 9 a.m. Dive, even the bottle, that kind of bluish turquoise bottle, looks really, really cool, and everything is very fitting for the scent that you actually get out of this one. It's just refreshing, and it just reminds you of, I don't know, like a summer morning on vacation or something. Really good stuff for a great price. Okay, we're going to go for something even cheaper than that up next, one that I've loved and talked about for a long time as well. It's Pepe Jean's Cocktail. This is... They have a few fragrances that are good. Celebration, Pepe Jean's Celebration is very good as well. Even the original one, just Pepe Jean's for him in this type of bottle, good as well. This is my favorite one, this cocktail version. It essentially is all about the grapefruit, a ton of grapefruit off the top. And ultimately, this one is very bright and very bubbly, effervescent even. It kind of has this sparkling quality to it, especially off the opening. Some of that does dissipate a little bit as it dries down, which you would kind of expect, but the opening is what really makes this one stand out, and it truly does. Oh, it smells amazing. It's bright, it's punchy, it kind of has this zesty, sour opening, and I think this is around $20 to $25 if I'm not mistaken. Sometimes testers you can get for maybe even on the lower end of that too, so really, really affordable, and it doesn't smell like a $20 to $25 scent. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that this smells like an $80 designer either. There's definitely a cutoff, and I'm okay with saying that. I would not pay $80 for this, right? But that's the thing, we just don't have to. Now, I don't know what it retails for. It might retail for something around that price point. that would not be something I would be interested in. But when you can get this for such a cheap price, it is worth every bit of $20 to $25, even $30 maybe is what it goes for sometimes. Would have no problem paying that, would pay for it again at that price. But there is a cutoff like I mentioned. But in terms of being on the cheaper end of things for spring and summer, this is one of the better scents out there. And it gives you a bit of a uniqueness. You know, there are other things you could go for, a lot of Nauticas, a lot of Calvin Kleins, a lot of Tommy Bahamas, and I'm trying to think of some other cheaper things, even Hollister fragrances and stuff, right? Nothing wrong with any of those. In fact, I like fragrances from each of those brands, but this one's going to stand out a bit more. And because it's kind of a brand that isn't nearly as popular, nobody else is going to be wearing this. All right, now this next one brings back memories big time. I love this stuff, and I wish I would have bought backup bottles of this one in particular. They've re-released it and done some different things over the years. Typical fashion, they can't leave something alone, right? It's like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, we see that all the time with fragrances, designer and niche. They just have to mess with stuff. It's Mugler Cologne, okay? This is what it looked like originally. This is the normal size, which, 100 ml bottle. Okay, I almost didn't know. I've had this for so long, okay? So long. 100 ml, what it used to look like. They also had a giant, probably 200 ml, I'm guessing is what it was, bottle that you could buy at one point. I wish I would have gotten that one. And then they discontinued this stuff. They made it to where you couldn't find it. Then they released it as like Mugler Come Together, I believe is what it's called. And then I think they maybe re-released it again. I'm not 100% sure. From what I saw on FragranceNet anyway, I don't think it's called Mugler Come Together anymore. I think it's just Mugler Cologne again. So I don't know exactly what's going on there, but again, they've changed it. But essentially, this is what we're looking at, just Mugler Cologne, okay? And this one here, again, brings back so many memories because there was a point where this was mega hyped up in the community. It has neroli, bergamot, petitgrain. Man, this stuff, so soapy, so clean, so fresh. It just smells like spring and summer. It really does. This is so uplifting, just a gorgeous scent. I mean, this is as clean as it possibly gets, like to the point where it's like freshly washed clothes clean. Yes, absolutely. Just stepped out of the shower clean. Absolutely. However, it's not like a shower gel. It's not, like a blue fragrance type of shower gel smell like we're often used to smelling with soapy, clean, fresh men's scents that have been released within the past, 5 years or even maybe going on 10 years at this point. This is not that at all. This is like more of a truly traditional, soapy, clean, aromatic scent with a nice citrus punch in here as well. It's just, this is the most clean smelling fragrance I think I have ever smelled. And for a lot of people, that's not what they want. I mean, sure, to some extent you want to smell clean. You don't want to smell unhygienic, but there are fragrances you can wear where that's not the main focus. It could be something that's more aquatic based, or even going further than that, tobacco or vanilla or tonka bean. Those don't smell clean. It's just a different way to express yourself and what you want to smell like. But this is for people who just want to smell clean. Like you don't need anything fancy. You want to smell very crisp. That's the best way to describe this one. And for spring, I mean, man, it's one of the best. Let's go for Afnan Turathi Bleu up next. This one has citruses, patchouli, and amber. So they don't specify in the note breakdown of this one. They say citruses. Personally, for me, it's essentially, it's very bergamot and grapefruit heavy. And this smells a lot like a very expensive Bulgari scent, Bulgari Tiger, which also does a similar thing. Now, it's very rich, a very heavy, dense, ambery, patchouli-based citrus scent. There's nothing like this. I mean, there's nothing like Bulgari Tiger until this came along, and there's a few other clones. But what I mean by that is this type of DNA, this type of structure here, is not all that common. This is not something that you see often, the way that they have this blended out. And that's why I love it. Nice atomizer on these too, a nice wide distribution there, but oh man, it is so premium and so expensive smelling. And it's that patchouli amber mixed with that bergamot combination here. It's just, if there was, like, to me, this does smell like a $200 scent. Obviously, this is $40. So, you're not paying nearly that much for the clone, that is. But really, this DNA, It's one of the most premium smelling DNAs I've tried, at least in terms of kind of fresher leaning. And so it's gonna have more of a mature smell, no doubt, gonna be more formal for sure. You could wear this casually if you wanted to. I just think that it's not the most casual smelling scent. You could go for something else a little bit easier going, but if you really wanted to dress up and you really wanted to make a statement, something like this, man, would be great. And especially for warmer weather, it has a little bit of that, not necessarily sweetness, although I guess you could say it is. It just has a heavier smell to it, a heavier base. So like 95-degree July days in the daytime wouldn't be my first choice, but for evenings, you know, date nights, dinners, more formal events, like I mentioned, you know, perhaps even a wedding or something, right? This would be great for that. It's very well put together smelling. This next one's a discontinued fragrance. It is Nuit d'Issey Bleu Astral. So it's in stock. You can get it at a couple different discounters right now. Like I mentioned, I'll drop a link down below. We're about $45 right now, and that is a 125 ml bottle as well. It's got lime, coriander, and leather. Not your typical fresher leaning scent, which is why I like it. It's a bit different here, but it smells great. A little bit spicy, peppery, and then the lime that you get off the opening, just really punchy and sour. What I like so much about this brand in particular is that they are capable of producing things that are top tier, like 10 out of 10s. This one might not be quite a 10 out of 10. I kind of am somewhat reserved on giving that designation to something, but I would say something like Issey Miyake Noir Ombre would be a 10 out of 10, or Incense is really good, not quite. Issey Miyake Pulse of the Night, Issey Miyake Polaris, Issey Miyake Nuit d'Issey Parfum, all of those are top tier fragrances. But then they also discontinue all of those, and then they release things that aren't that good, you know, like Issey Miyake Wood and Wood and a few other low dissies that just aren't all that exciting. All of that to say they are capable of amazing things. It's just whether or not they want to do it or not is kind of our best guess why. But this is one that you could still scoop up right now, and I would recommend it. A lot of these fragrances, when they get discontinued, they go for a lot of money on eBay and just the secondary market in general. They're great collector's pieces. People want this stuff, okay? So even if you buy this now and you don't like it very much, you could hold on to it and then you could just sell it for what you paid for it down the road, and there you go. You didn't lose any money. In fact, you could probably make money on it, which I don't, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say that you should do that because, you know, I don't know, that's not my call to make. People are going to get mad that I'm even suggesting that idea, but it's just kind of common sense. You buy this for a good price, you can resell it later if it's in demand, and really the blind buy risk goes to zero at that point for a collector's piece like this. It's just really good, and if you do want something unique for spring and summer, this is it. All right, now let's move over to Versace Man Eau Fraiche. This is the newest extreme version. So it has orange blossom, lemon, clary sage. They've got ambroxan in here as well. Interesting approach to this. You know, you do still get a little bit of Man Eau Fraiche, 100%. Just you pick up on it. But they do go pretty orange blossom heavy. It does throw it into that YSL Myself world. EDP, Le Parfum, maybe a little bit of both, which is interesting, you know, and that's one way to go about it. I guess I was expecting more so straight up Man Eau Fraiche, but simply stronger. That's not really what this is. And that's fine. You know, is what it is. We got this. We waited years, presumably, for an Eau Fraiche version or some sort of flanker of Versace Man Eau Fraiche. And, you know, it wasn't maybe what everybody wanted, but that's okay. I'm glad we got something. And to be fair, I do really like this. It sounds like I'm hating on it. I'm not at all. I think it smells great. That's why it's in this video after all. But I'm just trying to alleviate expectations ahead of time. If you're solely after a stronger version of Man Eau Fraiche, you know, that's what you want. You want it to smell very similar but stronger. This is not it. This is a pretty decent twist on that DNA. But I like it though, I do. Something different, and maybe it would be more redundant to have, you know, a version of this but just stronger. So it is what it is. But I do like it. I think it's great for spring especially, just because of the white florals and stuff. Typically I associate florals like this with spring. When you get into summer, typically I'm more aquatic and citrus forward. So spring, but summer as well. Man Eau Fraiche. It's an eau de parfum, so we get a little bit of a bump in a concentration there, and it does smell nice. So this next one is going to be discontinued as well, just because the entire Dunhill brand is going to be no longer, from the articles I've read online. It's Dunhill Icon racing. So this one is one that has never been popular. You just have never really heard about this one. You hear about the original all the time, maybe a couple of the other flankers, but this one, not so much. It has grapefruit, orange blossom, and bergamot. It smells wonderful. I really, really like it. It's a little bit peppery, a little bit slightly sweet, actually. Just a very little bit. But then you get nice grapefruit off the opening, and it does kind of give it more of a fresh smell overall. This would be great for spring, great for summer. You know, this is one that you could easily wear into fall too, and subsequently winter, but there's just better things for that. Spring, summer, fall, you know, the bulk majority of the year, you could get a lot of use out of this one. But if I really had to narrow it down, I would say more so spring, and probably early summer. Again, once we get into those really hot, humid July, August times of the year, this is not going to be at the top of my list. But again, spring and early summer, this would be a great one. It has a perfect balance of bright and fresh with a little bit of a sweetness. And last up for this video, this is going to be basically summer leaning for me. You could wear this in spring, but there's a reason why I like this for summer. It is Rasasi Hawas Atlantis, one of the newest releases here, and this is a clone of Invictus Legend, which is discontinued, of course, by Paco Rabanne. Another one where Legend kind of never got all that much traction. I mean, it was known for sure. Pretty much any Invictus that's going to be released is going to be well known because it's an Invictus flanker. It has that name. People are going to know about it, and they're going to hear about it. But it never took off like Invictus Aqua, never took off like, you know, name any of the other newer Invictus fragrances, right? This was kind of at a weird point where I think it was still somewhat overshadowed by Invictus Aqua. It was just never really all that popular. And the way I describe Invictus Legend / this new Rasasi Hawas Atlantis is it's not aquatic, but it's marine. It's very oceanic. So Invictus Aqua, that's aquatic to me. It's watery, it's lighter, tons of citrus to go along with it. This is going to be heavier. This is like, what's the best way to describe it? You know, you could almost say, if you wanted to put it this way, Invictus Aqua is like daytime, bright, summery, the sun's out, you're at the beach. Invictus Legend / Hawas Atlantis is like nighttime, deep, oceanic, rich, deep blue water type of smell. Whereas Invictus Aqua is like light blue, fresh water, you know, even like pool, like just very light. So that's the difference. This is much more heavy, more marine, kind of more salty. It has this bay leaf accord in here as well, less citrus, less brightness. It's not as bright. It's more muted. It's more of like a dull, heavy marine type of scent. This is really the way I describe it. Some people prefer the brightness of Invictus Aqua, Rasasi Hawas, a few of the other flankers. Some people might want something richer, deeper, darker. This is more like the depths of the ocean type of smell. And that's kind of what this is, and that's why I like it. Something different for summer. Also the bottle. Probably my favorite Rasasi Hawas bottle, you know. Verde, tropical, that green looks really cool, but I love the gradient. Just a touch of green, go into this deep blue down to black. I mean, this is what this smells like, this deep blue depths of the ocean. They did a great job with this bottle. It very much fits the scent. I love it. And you obviously can't get Invictus Legend, but you can get this for like 40 bucks, and it's so close. Alrighty guys, that's gonna do it for me. Some fresher leaning spring and summer scents that are absolutely perfect for the upcoming warm weather. Some of these are a bit different. Some of these maybe you haven't heard about in a while or heard of at all potentially, but I love them. Links will be down below. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.